Can't work out what to invest in on the stock market? Well, today's video might be right for you. We're taking a look at some of the hottest stocks and sectors on the stock market in July 2021. Let's have a look. How's it going, guys? Ryan here and welcome back to another stock market video. And we're taking a look at today what are some of the best stocks that you can buy right now based on the market trends we are currently seeing. I've divided these into three separate categories, and within those categories I've selected some potential stocks as well that might take your fancy. But before we get into that, guys, please remember to leave a thumbs up if you do enjoy today's video and subscribe if you want to see more of this sort of content. We cover crypto, stocks, investing and wealth management in general, so if that tickles your fancy, then please remember to hit subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you're notified every time a new video is released. I'd also love to know your thoughts on some other stocks that I don't discuss in today's video down in the comments section below. If you think they're hot, let us know. But without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Let's kick things off by identifying the three key sectors that we're going to be focusing on today before we get into the individual stocks themselves or the subcategories within them. The first one is the commodity sector, the second one is the clean energy sector, and the third one is the technology sector. For July 2021, in my opinion, these are the hottest sectors and the highest growth potential sectors you can get involved with based on current market trends. So let's take a look at the commodity sector to start off with. The commodity sector is going absolutely nuts right now, and in the past 6 months we have seen many different commodities hit all-time highs from a price perspective. And for those of you who aren't aware of what commodities are, we're talking raw materials. So we're talking things such as gold, copper, iron ore, steel, all those sorts of things which you dig up out the ground and you use in order to create various products. And the first one I really want to take a look at is copper. As you can see, over the past year, the copper price has been absolutely surging and it is now sitting at roughly $4.28 US per pound. And when we're looking at copper, we want to be focusing on companies which are mining it up. So if you're looking for a safe bet, you're looking for companies such as Rio Tinto, you're looking at your BHP Billiton's, those sort of companies. If you want to go more exploratory, you can take a look at companies such as HCH, which is Hot Chili, which are effectively companies that have massive resources that are currently untapped in the world. The next commodity you want to consider is gold, and as you can see, over the past few years gold has absolutely flown and is something that is actually relatively stable, and it's the same as copper. You want to be looking for producers. So if you want to look at existing producers already making money and benefiting off the high gold prices, look at your Newcrests, look at your Northern Stars. If you want to take something a bit more exploratory, look at your Nova Minerals, look at your De Grey Minings, all those sorts of companies. The third commodity to consider is iron ore, and this is something that nobody expected to be performing well right now given the sanctions that China has put on iron ore exports out of Australia. But same thing once again, guys, look at your BHPs, look at your Rios, those companies which are producing iron ore, all those companies which are currently sitting on untapped iron ore resources. Iron ore is going to consistently be in demand, especially when it comes to steel. So keep in the back of your mind, as well, as steel prices rise, so will iron ore, vice versa. Keep an eye on these iron ore producers. Final commodity I want you to consider is rare earths, and this is a bit harder to share with you given the fact that when you are mining rare earths, you get all sorts mixed up in there. So it's hard to actually get a spot price and be able to show you in a graphical format exactly what's going on. But the key here to remember is that China controls most of the world's resources of rare earths. And basically what they blocked is the exports of those rare earths from China. So as a result of this, where is the rest of the world going to get their rare earths from? Well, there's not actually many companies around the world doing it. The main one is Lynas Corp. So have a look at that one, because rare earths are going to be going up, and you've got the US looking for direct supplies of rare earths from somewhere in the world other than China. Some other ones to look at include VML, which is a company called Vital Metals, and it's located in Canada. It's relatively close. Another one called IXR, Ionic. Have a look at that one as well. That might be a bit further off. VML is going to be coming online soon, so that one is more likely to have, I suppose, a bigger upside in the short term with money flowing through the door. But do not be sleeping on rare earths. This is a really interesting topic to cover. As I mentioned as well, guys, commodities overall are booming. So these are not the only ones to look at. You can look at some really left side type things such as lumber. If you've been in, I suppose, the stocks or the commodities game, this is one you would have seen being thrown out a lot in recent times, purely because the price of lumber has just gone absolutely crazy. But we're seeing that for many prices of many different commodities. And it's quite simple. It just comes down to the fact that we've got such large demand and our supply is remaining stagnant or either decreasing, with less and less discoveries occurring around the world these days than we saw back a few decades ago. The next area I want to focus on is clean energy, and this is an area which is becoming more and more prevalent in day-to-day society. And that's not only due to the fact that people are becoming a lot more conscious of their energy usage and the way that they deal with energy. It is also due to pushes by the governments globally on using clean energy sources, which obviously not only inflows to the consumers, but organizations as well. Therefore, there has been such a large movement towards clean energy that many companies and governments are putting money where their mouth is and actually investing in sources to do so. I'm focusing on two key sub-sectors within clean energy. The first is lithium, and the second is electric vehicles. Now, whilst lithium may be considered a commodity, I wanted to put it in clean energy because I wanted to cover both ends of the supply chain. The actual production of materials that are in clean energy solutions and the clean energy products themselves. As you know, when it comes to lithium, they are the key material required in order to make lithium-ion batteries, which go into the vast majority of clean energy products through the form of batteries. If you have a lithium-ion battery, it is significantly cleaner from a usage point of view than your traditional methods, such as using gas, oil, whatever it may be. So if we're looking at lithium first, what do we want to look at? Well, a couple of companies come to mind. The first is Albemarle, which has some of the highest and largest, I suppose, material that exists on the market at the moment. And that's what puts them ahead of the pack. And they use hard rock material as well, so they literally dig it up the ground and process it and then sell it on to their customers. The second is a up and coming company which has gone into production in the past few years, and that is Pilbara Minerals, also known as PLS on the Australian Stock Exchange. This is a company doing the same thing. It's not the same amount from a grade point of view, but they have a large ability to actually expand very quickly. On the other end of the supply chain, I want to focus on the actual EVs. So obviously the first company that is going to come to mind here is Tesla. They are clearly one of the biggest and the leaders in the automotive space when it comes to electric vehicles, as well as obviously electric batteries and that sort of thing. You would have seen the battery plant that they created in South Australia as well. So we're not just limiting this to electric vehicles specifically, but the end products that these companies provide. Tesla is always going to be, at least for the next few years, ahead of the pack. So that's why this is one which you should have a look at. Another one which is similar, smaller company, Fisker, they also do electric vehicles as well. You can also take a look at companies such as Rivian, although they are not listed on stock exchanges as of yet. So if you've got a lot of money and you've got private equity, you can invest in those, but for your typical people like you and me, that is just not the case. But let's take a look at the electric vehicle demand. This image perfectly illustrates the demand that EVs are now bringing, and you can see this is from 2010 all the way to 2020. And what you're seeing here is quite literally exponential growth. And what we're expecting to see is obviously 2021 is going to be significantly higher than 2020. Keep that in mind, guys. This is, as I say, exponential. Focus on car companies. Focus on the car companies aiming at electric vehicles. This is the way the world is going. And as a result, many manufacturers are starting to transfer and transition to electric vehicles because demand is just so high. As a bonus for you, there is another area you need to consider. How are these electric vehicles going to be getting charged? Well, companies such as ChargePoint are the ones who are enabling this. And obviously, the more EVs that are on the road, the more charging points are available. So that demand that we just saw on the chart is also going to drive the demand for more of these charging points around the world. So check out ChargePoint as well, guys. The final sector I want to take a look at is the technology sector. And within that, we want to be looking at fintech, e-commerce, and hardware and software providers. The fintech space is becoming crazy, and the likes of companies such as Afterpay and Zip are increasing in popularity. People need money. That is just a simple fact. And with a lack of opportunities available in many different locations, they're having to resort to buy now, pay later type companies such as these in order to purchase, whether it be your day-to-day goods and services or things that are a bit more expensive, such as car loans. So keep these in the back of your mind. These are our core sort of service providers: Afterpay, Square, Zip. If you want to find something a bit newer, take a look at CRO, which is a company called Serato. And rather than focusing on the business to consumer aspect, they're focusing on the business to business aspect, which has a global market value that literally runs into the hundreds of billions of dollars per year due to the number of transactions that are occurring consistently. So have a look at that as well if you want to explore something that is a bit new and potentially something that is up and coming and could be the likes of, your next Afterpay or your next Zip in a few years' time. The next area is e-commerce, and the first one that's probably going to pop into your head is Amazon, and this is clearly the market leader. We do have the likes of Alibaba, but I think if you're looking for some e-commerce providers, then Amazon is most likely the way to go. Keep in mind as well your service on demand providers as well. That is a form of e-commerce. So companies such as Netflix, Stan, they are also included as e-commerce providers, service on demand providers, and as a result, people are obviously wanting to get these services quicker than ever before. What's the easiest way in order to watch a movie? Well, you're going to go to something like Netflix or Stan or one of those simple streaming services because you can instantly click it and get it now. Gone are obviously the days of things such as Blockbuster or Video Easy. You can simply just sit in front of your computer, sit in front of your TV, and just stream these services immediately. Same with the e-commerce side when it comes to companies like Amazon. Why bother going to the shops anymore when you can simply just turn on your phone, turn on your computer, and start shopping from there and have it all delivered to your house? Especially with what's going on at the moment in the world, you simply don't want to leave your house at times, and as a result of that, services such as Amazon are really beneficial for consumers. Final area to consider is those software and hardware providers. Obviously, it's going to be hard to find companies which are new and emerging. Your leaders are going to be your Apples, your Microsofts, those sort of companies, but they are consistently innovating, bringing out new products and making fantastic sales year on year. So they are genuinely good long-term stable investments for you to consider. If you want to get into something a bit more niche, have a look at esports. This is an area not many people are talking about at the moment and something that could blow up. So keep in mind esports as well if you want something a bit more risky. That wraps up today's video, guys. As I said, let us know down in the comments section below what you think are some fantastic stocks that haven't been covered on this list that have big potential in July and for the year going forward. And with that, if you did enjoy today's video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more of this sort of content. As I said, we cover stocks, investing, wealth management, and crypto. If it tickles your fancy, subscribe, turn on bell notifications. I'll end the video there, guys. Have an awesome day. I'll see you next time. Cheers.